Hello guys, welcome to Vivek QA YouTube channel. Today we are discuss about the cleavage. This topic is involved in embryonic development of in zoology. Here it's involved in sixth semester of biology of zoology honors, where the cleavage is involved in a part of topic where development of embryonic it is includes in the main important topic of the second unit in the examination comes to the 100%. It is a long question where you can write what is cleavage and in this process what are doing. So now discuss about the cleavage. What is cleavage? Introduction. So guys, you can first write an cleavage about introduction. What is introduction about cleavage? So cleavage is the division. Cleavage is the division of egg into blastomere. So it is the segmentation of zygote into smaller and smaller units called blastomeres, resulting in the formation of embryonic stages is called blastula. Cleavage occurs generally after fertilization. At first, cleavage was observed frogs, where frogs frogs egg by Sumerdon, who is Sumerdon in 1738. Sumerdon found in 1738 where frogs. It is the introduction of cleavage. So now see, let's silent features of cleavage. Silent feature of cleavage. It produces a solid mass of cells called morula, which develops in certain animals, like example mammals. In majority of animals, cleavage produces halospheral of cells called blastula. Blastula is the halosphere. It is majority of animals in the cleavage. It provides an adequate number of cells for the construction of tissue and organs. You can remember it is easily, so tissue and organ is provides adequate number of cells for construction of tissue and organ. During cleavage, the embryo does not grow. It is most important question. When process starts the cleavage, embryo does not grow. Look. During cleavage, the amount of DNA increases. DNA increases. Cleavage brings about fixed proportion between nuclear and cytoplasmic materials. Brings about the fixed proportion between nuclear and cytoplasmic materials. So now discuss about types of cleavage. Mainly we can discuss about the types of cleavage. One is determination cleavage. Second is indetermination cleavage. So two types of cleavage. What are determination cleavage and indetermination cleavage. In this case, the fate of the blastomers are regardlessly fixed. Definite blastomer give rise to specific part of the embryo. Here the fate of the blastomers previously determined ascaris. Ascaris is the mostly example of the determinate cleavage. What is indeterminate cleavage? In this case, indeterminate cleavage, the fate of blastomer are not rigidly fixed but flexible in nature. It is flexible in nature. Each of the blastomers of a zygote separate after cleavage. Blastomers of zygote separate after cleavage, then each can produce one copulate embryo. Example, Coelenterata and amphibia. So, discuss of planes of cleavage. There are four types of planes. The cleavage is initiated by the appearance at a group or construction called cleavage furrow. Okay, the cleavage appears first at one point of egg. In Amphioxus, example, Amphioxus, the first furrow appears at the animal pole. The furrow then deepens and extends downward on both sides upon the egg. The furrow extends towards rapidly, finally constricting eggs into the blastomer. The cleavage furrow divides the eggs zygote into angeles or planes. There are four main planes cleavage. They are as follows. One is meridional plane, vertical plane, equatorial plane, latitudinal plane. So we can discuss meridional plane. Number one is meridional plane. With the cleavage furrow bisects both poles of the egg, passing through the polar axis, where the cleavage plane is said the meridional plane. It is simple. The furrow bisects are both poles of the eggs passing through the polar axis. Then it is called meridional plane. And number two, vertical planes. It resembles the meridional cleavage plane because plane to the vegetal pole, where it is vegetal pole, it is polar axis, but does not pass through the median axis of the egg. It appears one side of the axis. One side. This is both side of the poles of axis. So let's discuss about third point is equatorial planes. Equatorial planes. Equatorial planes. The equatorial plane of cleavage bisects the egg at right angles to the median axis and halfway between animal and vegetal pole. Animal and vegetal pole bisects egg at right angle to the median axis halfway between animal and vegetal poles. It is called equatorial plane. Number 4. Number 4. Number 4. Latitudinal plane. Latitudinal plane. It cuts the eggs at right angles median axis but passes either above below the equator of the X animal pole. It is the example. It is the meridional, equatorial, vertical, vegetal, equatorial, meridional. So now discuss the patterns of cleavage. Patterns of cleavage. There are mainly two types: cleavage, holoblastic cleavage and meroblastic cleavage. So now discuss about holoblastic cleavage. Holoblastic cleavage. In holoblastic cleavage, entire X divides it, also known as total complete cleavage. It is complete cleavage. What is complete cleavage? Holoblastic cleavage is complete cleavage. In this cleavage, when the blastomers are equal in size, blastomers are equal in size. So cleavage is said to be equal. It is again of following types. The cleavage holoblastic cleavage is 5 types. Holoblastic cleavage is 5 types. One is radial cleavage, bilateral cleavage, spiral cleavage, biradial cleavage, rotational cleavage. The radial cleavage. Number 1 is radial cleavage. Number 1 is radial cleavage. In a radial cleavage, the blastomers are arranged radially around the center of axis of the egg. The embryo has a symmetry of wheel. Arranged radially around the central axis of the egg, embryo has a symmetry of wheel. On radial cleavage, spindles are oriented either parallel or perpendicular to the polar axis. Example: sea cucumber, snapta, sea urchin, etc. And echinoderms is mostly important. It is the radial cleavage of the holoblastic. Second has bilateral cleavage. When the cleavage produce bilateral symmetry in the embryo in the cleavage of called bilateral cleavage. Bilateral symmetry in the embryo. The bilateral cleavage size of embryo the mirror image of other side. Example: Ascidian, cephalopod, mollusca, tunicates. It is the example of Amphioxus of holoblastic. Equal size of the two-stage cell. Then unequal, it is the unequal, smaller, bigger. Holoblastic cleavage in Amphioxus. There are two-stage cell and there are four-stage cell. Radial cleavage in sea urchins is found in 4 stages. Spiral cleavage. In this cleavage, new blastomere are slightly displaced, giving a spiral appearance to the embryo. It is characterized by oblique orientation of spindles prior to cleavage. It is the modification of radial cleavage. Radial cleavage to modified into the spiral cleavage called spiral cleavage. Spindly modified into annelids of mollusca. Spiral cleavage. Biradial cleavage. Number 4, biradial cleavage. It is seen in Ctenophora and its first two cleavage planes are meridional. Third cleavage plane is vertical, resulting in the formation of curved cells arranged in 2 rows. Biradial means 2 types of radial here seen at the above. Third cleavage is plane in vertical. And fourth formation of curved plates of cell arranged in 2 rows. Then number 5, rotational cleavage. What is rotational cleavage? The cleavage in mammals, unusually and named as rotational cleavage by Gularius in 1975. Gulayars. It is important question for entrance. Rotational cleavage which is named as Gulayas in 1975. Here first cleavage is meridional, producing two blastomere, and second cleavage is unequal in an unusual arrangement of two blastomeres, and these two rotated to 90 degree. Important question. It is important question. 90 degree. 90 degree with respect to other polar axis. Example, mammals. Rotational cleavage of example is mammals. So now the discussed types of cleavage. Here are holoblastic cleavage and macroblastic cleavage. There are mostly we found in meroblastic cleavage two types, and holoblastic cleavage with 5 types of cleavage. So let's discuss meroblastic cleavage. In meroblastic cleavage, only a portion of the egg divide. What is divide? There are portion of the egg is divide. It is otherwise known as a partial or incomplete cleavage. So meroblastic cleavage is incomplete or partial cleavage, and holoblastic cleavage is complete cleavage. It is characteristic of telolithial and megalithal eggs. Telolithial and megalithal eggs. It is again of two types. Meroblastic cleavage is two types: discoidal cleavage, supracortical cleavage. Discoidal cleavage, supracortical cleavage. What is discoidal cleavage? So, number one is discoidal cleavage. It occurs in fishes, reptiles, and birds. Where? Fishes, reptiles, and birds. Hence, cytoplasm is placed in the animal pole, and this called blastodisc, and this disc divides alone. Here the divides blastodisc. Here two types of blastomers. So now discuss about superficial cleavage. Superficial cleavage. Meroblast cleavage in bird. It is superficial cleavage. It is characteristic features of centrocephala eggs insects. Here segmentation does not extend into central yolk. It is the yolk or nucleus here presents. Peripheral cytoplasm. This is the peripheral cytoplasm. Here the nucleus and yolk sac is present and found in Drosophila melanster. It is scientific name of Drosophila melanster. So types of cleavage is complete. Now we can discuss the factors affecting cleavage. What is factor affecting cleavage? The yolk affects on the rate of cleavage. When yolk is abundant, it tends to retard and also inhibit the cleavage. The yolk also determine the pattern of cleavage. The frequency of the cleavage depends upon viscosity at the cytoplasm of the ovum. The rate of process of cleavage also much affected by light, temperature, medium cytoplasmatic organization, mitosis, etc. So let's discuss about conclusion of the cleavage. Conclusion of the cleavage. The cleavage starts with single cell and at least a complete mass of blastomer are produced called morula. Where blastomer, completing blastomer is called morula. During cleavage, the cytoplasmic substance transfer into nuclear substance, but qualitative changes occurs in the chemical composition of the eggs are very few. Hello guys, this is the complete of cleavage notes in the all topics. Clear, it is a long question. So guys, subscribe to my channel and share these notes to your friends, your schools friends, otherwise many other people. So it is the complete notes about cleavage. Thank you. Tata.